Greetings, loved ones. Today, we're going to talk about getting your children out of harm's way. Escaping abuse should be an urgent concern when children are involved. To help get these messages out, please subscribe to our channel, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, hit the like button and the notice bell, and please share these messages with others. You never know, just by doing so, you could save a life. An estimated 8 million children a year, I'll say that again, an estimated 8 million children a year are exposed to domestic violence in their homes, and some 18 million children witness or experience domestic violence over their lifetimes. This is in the United States. No non-abusive parent would ever want that kind of life for their children, and yet many survivors feel stuck. When the little one's in a household where domestic violence is occurring, it can make leaving twice as challenging. A survivor might worry that the children will be scarred by the changes that come with abruptly escaping or separating them from their other parent. And many abusers use children as tools for power and control. I hear this all the time in the cases. They may threaten to harm the children if the survivor leaves, or say they will take them away before the survivor can escape, or even after the survivor escapes. Many abusers use these children as pawns in court, fighting for custody they may not even want, just to terrorize the survivor or convince her to return. Again, I'm going to say I see this in almost every single case we have. Don't listen to those threats. While the danger and stress that comes with leaving is undoubtedly high, staying could bring even more risk. Research shows that exposing children to domestic violence can have both immediate and long-term negative effects. So short-term, these effects could include problems with anger and disobedience, higher rates of depression, feelings of fear and anxiety, low self-esteem, trouble concentrating and completing tasks, higher rates of delinquency, and substance abuse, including alcohol. Research shows that long-term, children exposed to domestic violence have an increased tolerance for and use of violence in their own adult relationships. This means there's a higher risk of continuing the cycle of a child either entering a relationship with an abuser or becoming an abuser of themselves. It doesn't mean that all children who experience abuse will be abused or become an abuser. It just means that in compared to the normal, they are at a higher risk. And despite these findings, just as I said, not all children exposed are guaranteed to go down a negative path. According to the Child Welfare Information Gateway, children's risk levels and reactions to domestic violence exist on a continuum. Some children demonstrate enormous resiliency, while others show signs of significant maladaptive adjustment. They say factors such as social competence, intelligence, high self-esteem, and a supportive relationship with an adult, especially the non-abusive parent. These can help protect the children from the adverse effects of exposures to domestic violence. And that's good news, at least for those who can break free from the cycle of abuse. So how do you do that? Before leaving an abusive partner, a survivor should consider first speaking to a lawyer who specializes in domestic violence and custody cases. This helps to ensure the survivor won't be violating any court custody orders or criminal parental kidnapping laws. This is especially important if the survivor intends to travel to another state with the children. Yet keep in mind that leaving children with an abuser can negatively affect a survivor's chance of getting custody of them in a later time in court. So next, you want to work with a domestic violence advocate to safely develop a safety plan for leaving with your children. It's better to loop in kids regarding what's going on rather than keeping them in the dark. Depending on their age, they can be trusted with varying levels of information, and they can even play a role in helping to keep the whole family safe. You want to plan out where to go. This could be a friend or a family member's house, preferably someplace the abuser isn't familiar with to ensure your safety. Otherwise, consider a shelter. Domestic violence shelters will generally welcome children as well as adults. Most are for adult women only, but many will also help male survivors and their children. However, male survivors may stay in an off-site housing option such as a hotel for the safety and comfort of the female participants in the shelter. And depending on the shelter, some will even provide on-site schooling for children if the survivor feels it's unsafe for her children to attend their normal school. It is a good idea to seek out a shelter that is not in your immediate area or neighborhood to make it more difficult should the abuser try and locate you. Most shelters will allow survivors and children to stay with them for up to 90 days, though it could be longer or shorter depending on extenuating circumstances and also availability. It's vital in that time period for survivors to work with counselors and advocates to come up with the next steps for their continued safe living. With 1 in 3 women experiencing domestic violence worldwide, the question is not if you will encounter a victim of violence. The question before God is, what will you do when you do encounter them? You could be the person who saves a life. You are called. We are all called to be champions for justice. Those who suffer violence need to know that those who love them and those who don't even know them will step out and reach out to them to give them the help and the courage they need to leave before it's too late. Help us get these messages out. Subscribe to our channel, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit that like button and that notice bell, and please share these messages with others because you never know, just by doing so, you could save a life. If you are a victim of violence, I want you to know that you are valued, you are loved, you are intelligent, and you are beautiful. God does not want you to suffer violence. He wants you to live free from violence in peace and tranquility. There is a way out. It's not your fault. Abuse is not love. If you're a victim of violence, please reach out to someone. And if you find yourself in a dangerous situation, call 911 for help. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about fleeing an abuser with your children. Until then, God bless you.